Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for having me. Thank you for organizing this great event. We do need more of these more often, getting all the stakeholders, getting the best minds together to brainstorm how we can improve our individual communities and the continent at large. Like Helen mentioned, my name is Malobi Ogbechie. Born in Nigeria, lived in the UK for quite a while, and I moved back to Nigeria last year, just before the peak of the COVID, to be honest. And like she said, I started off exporting an ancient grain from West Africa called fonio. It's essentially one of the oldest grains to ever be cultivated, but yet even Nigerians themselves don't know about this grain, yet it's indigenous to West Africa. This grain has been used for many years by the ancient Egyptians, all the way up to people in Senegal, and it's a great food for people that have diabetes, etc. So please do your research and learn about this grain, because we need to be talking about food and nutrition and healthy eating and using these crops that are drought resistant and that can help in parts of Nigeria and Africa that are affected by climate change. So I started off exporting this grain, and by getting into the export and agribusiness space, I saw a lot of the different challenges that I was having, and I figured, other people would have these similar challenges. So I decided to create the Pan-African Traders Company. Pan-African Traders is essentially a tech company that creates tech solutions to enable trade within Africa. So one of our products is the Pan-African Traders Marketplace. If you go into my LinkedIn, Malobi Ogbechie, you'll see all these companies for reference. But Pan-African Traders Marketplace is kind of like Alibaba, but basically focused on the African continent. B2B trade, large volumes, focus on boosting trade within the continent. So that's our first product. Right now, we're going through an iteration where we're building a new website. The second product I built is, I know what was mentioned earlier was education, education, education. So I built a platform called Afriverse. That's AFRIVERSE.co. So Afriverse is essentially an e-learning marketplace. So anyone from the continent or the diaspora can create their own course for free, and charge however much they want to, and let other people learn from them, because a lot of us have knowledge that we don't appreciate as much, but we don't understand that other people can create courses for our brothers and sisters in Africa and in diaspora. So we've got people creating courses on self-development. We recently launched an export course if you want to learn how to export from Africa. We've got a language course, we've got Swahili, Yoruba, Igbo, etc., etc. So the first one was the marketplace, second one was the e-learning, and then the newest project we're working on, which hasn't been launched yet, is a logistics platform. So what we found is that a lot of people, when they want to export goods to the UK, to USA, it's quite expensive, because if you send it by air, you oftentimes pay a premium, because it takes a shorter amount of time, but it's actually a lot more expensive to send stuff by air. So once you start sending thousands of kilograms of products, you have to actually send it by a sea container. So any of you that's been in the exporting industry, you'll know that most of the time, if you want to send big amounts of products, you send it by sea. So what we've essentially done is we've democratized access to exporting. So we're allowing people to share spaces within a shipping container. So think of it as an Uber pool for exporting. So you can share a container with your friends and family or colleagues. Or also if you're importing into the States or into wherever you are in the diaspora, you can share a container. Say, for example, you want to get 20 tons of shea butter, but for you to get that by yourself, it's a lot, right? So you can get your friends and family, one person can get 2 tons, another person can get 3 tons of cocoa butter, and you can essentially pool your money together and share the shipping. So these are the sort of innovative technologies that we're creating. And as we go and we grow and we learn, we're going to keep growing and creating more products to help other people, because essentially what we're trying to do is, as I'm building my export business and as it's growing, I'm seeing things that I've encountered that have made it difficult for myself. So what I'm trying to do is make it easier for people that are coming behind me to tap into this space, because at the end of the day, we need to start getting into the international trade. In order, I'll give you a brief understanding of what's going on internationally. Trade within the European nations is at about 69%. So trade going between UK, Spain, Europe, etc., is about 69%. Trade within the Asian nations is at about 59%. But trade within Africa, and this is what we need in order to boost the African economies, create more jobs, trade within Africa is at a mere 14%. So we've got a long way to go. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to help people. We're trying to educate people on agribusiness, educate people on exporting, educate people on how to start trading within Africa so that we can start circulating the money within Africa and not just being a commodity exporter, not just exporting raw cocoa beans and raw sesame seeds. Let's process the products, let's add value, let's get more money and keep it within the continent, and let's also trade within the continent. So this is something that I'm really passionate about. This is what Pan-African Traders is all about. And I would love to open up the floor if anyone's got any questions for me, and then we can get the conversation going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malobi. Thank you. That was excellent. Please, if you have any questions, please, if you can raise your hands, and the forum is open.
I see Francis, is that Francis Beginia? I think he's got his hand up.
Francis, okay, I cannot.
I think you, Francis, I think you're meant to press the hand raising button. I don't know where that is.
I'm not. She's on mute. Francis, would you like to answer question?
Oh, no, I want to ask a question, if I may.
Okay. Yes, of course, go ahead.
Okay, so what's his name? Keith. You mentioned about e-learning, and if somebody has to can launch a course. So I'm really into special needs. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you, Francis.
Okay. So my specialty is special needs, and I wouldn't mind launching a course, not that I'm going to charge anyone, to talk about special needs. Like if you've got a child and your child is developing, how to identify that your child is not meeting his or her milestones, the professionals to tap into, and how to help your child in terms of play. I wouldn't mind to put on the website something small for other members of the community to learn from. But how do I go about that?
Yeah, sure. So if you go on our website, you can click on, well, the website is Afriverse. So AFRIVERSE. .co, not com, .co. And if you go to the website, there'll be a button there. You can click to become an instructor. Once you click on that, we'll have a quick call with you. Normally it takes a couple minutes just to, gauge your competence in the subjects you want to teach. But we're not too strict on it, because we're not making a quote unquote academic institution, right? We're making a more informal platform where people like yourself might not, a lot of people that have created courses on our platform have never created courses before, right? So it's more for people that are in that space, and also people that are experienced as well. So we'll just speak with you, make sure that you know the subject matter that you're talking about. And then once that's done, we've got tutorials online on how to upload a course. We've even got a course we're working on that teaches you how to create a course. So if you've never created a course before, it goes step by step, whether you want to use a phone or a camera, what software, just helping people through the first course that if they've never created one before. So yeah, the first step is just to go on the website, click on become an instructor. You just have to put in your name, email, and maybe what the course is going to be about. And then our team will reach out to you, and then we'll begin that conversation. And then we can also guide you through, uploading the course onto the platform. But, you're more than welcome. Like that's an important subject area. And like you said, you can charge for your course, or you can put it on for free. So feel free to do whichever way that you please. But yeah, we need courses like that. Like I said, we want it to be open. We want it to be more of a free marketplace of ideas. So we're not just saying, oh, you have to have a degree or this or that or whatever, right? So please do, reach out to us and fill out that form, and we'll be happy to have your course on the platform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But I'm just wondering, why does it have to be a course? Because we have different ways of learning. Can it not be like a seminar? Because somebody like me, I'm really good with the talking. Does it have to be structured like that? Just a suggestion.
No. You can organize your course in whatever way you want, right? So you can have it like this meeting that we're having today. It's a recorded Zoom meeting, right? So you can just, create that and record it, upload it onto Afriverse. So it doesn't have to be course, part 1, part 2, have complicated PDFs. It's all up to you on how you think is the best way to deliver the information, right? So it's when we say course, we're not just restricting it to a certain type of structure. You can create the content in the way that you see fit. So that's the way I'd kind of explain that. I hope that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. Thank you.
Okay. No worries.
Thank you, Malobi. That is great. We have another question. Malobi, could you put your details in the chat? Would that be possible? Would that be possible?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So anybody else who has any other ideas as well, maybe they can just reach out to you, and we can email other people who are also interested. If you could put your details in the chat, that'd be really great.
Yes, I'll just put that. And I'll put the
link. We have one more question. I also have a question, but let's go to Joshua. Joshua Joel Baku. Is that Baku? Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but Joshua, you've got your hand up. Would you like to answer the question?
Joshua Joel, also known as Conscious Man. I'm new in the Zoom. I don't know how it works much, so I'm following the conversation. I just really want to know if you guys are seeing me. That's why I raised my hand. Thank you very much.
We can't see, but we can hear you. You need to click on the camera, and then we can actually see you on there. Do you have a question for Malobi?
Okay, can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you now. Your camera is on, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I've been verified. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? So this is really empowering. Yes. You can put on courses, and contact Malobi. These are practical ideas that we can impact our youth. We can impact, our next generation. So if anybody else has got any courses, any ideas, or any questions, agriculturally related questions, anything that you feel, okay, we've got somebody else. We've got Keith.
Helen.
Yes.
I've got one from Facebook.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Sebastian. Go ahead.
All right. So Barbara Conadu asked a question, and it goes like this.
Okay.
Indeed, there's no doubt that in order to drive the economic fortitude of Africa, there must be a frantic effort towards processing and production. Unfortunately, the financial and environment to do so has been the major problem. How do we create the platform to access assistance? So Malobi, I've sent you the question as well in the chat, so if you take a look at it, you have a visual version of it.
Yes, so I think, so there's two parts to this. One part is, yes, I do agree that, the processing and production is very important. With the African Continental Free Trade Area, it's going to make more opportunities for value-added goods, because like we all know, Africa, we've been exporter of raw materials to the rest of the world, and most of the money is not really made from exporting raw materials, right? If we look at the cocoa value chain, maybe 7% of the entire value chain, or the money generated in the chocolate industry, is from the actual exporters of the raw cocoa bean. The processors, the ones that make the chocolate, the cocoa powder, the cocoa drinks, those are the people that make the bulk of the money in the chocolate industry. So that goes for any industry, from the sesame to sesame oil, to the cashew apples, to the processed cashews. So we need to tap into that. And with this new free trade area, there's going to be more opportunity for that because the trade barriers are going to go down. There's going to be less tariffs. And so we can start really trading in high value goods. And also with a lot of European players and a lot of African players, the European company or governments, they have higher tariffs, right? So for an African company to export their chocolate to Switzerland is going to be a bit more difficult than an African company exporting to another African country because there's going to be no tariffs. So you can see there why the new free trade area is going to be really beautiful for that. But onto the point about the financial point. I think also another issue is that sometimes, okay, there's two things. Sometimes we're underprepared for financing. And then secondly, sometimes we don't know where to get the financing. I do, I believe that yes, of course, there might not be that much funds available, but sometimes that's not really the case. Even myself, that's been in the agribusiness industry for a while, it took me quite a while to actually figure out where to get the funds or who's offering funds, how they're offering funds, what are the stipulations. And this is why education is key. This is why knowledge is key. This is why we created Afriverse. So by next month, hopefully, we're going to be launching the Agribusiness 101 course. And in that Agribusiness 101 course, we're not just going to teach you about how to get into agribusiness, what to look out for, the value chains, etc. But we're going to teach you how to source funding, how to get financing, how to prepare yourself for financing. I feel like that is actually a big piece that's missing because we kind of assume that, oh, there's no money. But actually, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money that's being thrown around. But the problem is, it tends to be the larger companies, the larger corporations that get access to these funds. So what we want is for the SMEs, the smaller businesses to get access to these funds, but those SMEs need to be ready for the funds. If you're looking for investment and you don't have a good business plan, a good feasibility study, you don't have proof of sales, you don't have a good operations, you don't have certification for your products, you're not going to get that money. So we really got to educate ourselves on how to get the money in the first place. So that's the way I would put it. I like to look at the glass half full. I don't like to look at it and say, oh, there's no money, because there is. We just need to know how to get the money, where the money is, and how to prepare ourselves for that money. And then the environment. I'm myself, I live in Nigeria. I do understand that there are some, environmental concerns. We look at security, we look at different issues. But what I would say is, understand your market, understand what the higher risk areas are. Even though there are risky regions of a country like Nigeria, there are also other regions in Nigeria that are a lot safer, better investment, less risky, and you can get a good return on. So understand the market you're playing in. And then if you are an investor or someone that's looking from the diaspora and you're looking at any African country, then you've got a really unique perspective because now you're not necessarily tied down to a specific country. You're not emotionally drawn because in business, we've got to be business minded. We can't say, oh, I have to invest here because my great ancestor is from this place. No, we have to look at the numbers. We have to look at the environment. We have to look at it as a business opportunity. We can't get overly sentimental about things. I myself am investing in Nigeria because I live here. I might contradict myself a little bit. I am passionate about making Nigeria better. But as an investor, if you're not necessarily tied down to a particular country, you have a unique opportunity. You can look at the countries that are less risk, look at countries that are better for agribusiness, better for fashion, better for automotive. You got to look and really understand the markets that you're going into. So if you're looking to invest in Africa as well, you can send me an email. I can help consult a little bit, help you to understand the different markets, especially to do with agribusiness. That's my specialty. I'm not going to pretend to understand other industries. Agribusiness is what I understand best. So if you want to talk about that, if you want to invest in Africa, you can send me an email. I can help you with that in agribusiness. So I hope that was a long-winded answer, but I hope I kind of covered that. But yeah, if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me just hand over to Zainab. Zainab, my apologies. Let me hand over to you. I know you have some questions, and please go ahead. If you can unmute and put on your camera, that'd be great. Thank you so much, Zainab.
Zainab, are you there?
Zainab, are you there?
Zainab, would you please just jump in and then just take over from this session? And yeah, Zainab, are you there?
I think someone's also got their hand up. The Ofush Suhene Keith has got his hand up.
Okay, no.
I just wanted to know if you guys can see me because I'm doing the sign language interpretation. So I wanted to be sure if you still see me.
Yeah, we can see you. We can see.
Yes, we can.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, we can see you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Zainab is not here. Okay, Helen, would you please just take over again?
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, do we have any other questions for Malobi? That was a great presentation, Malobi. Thank you so much. Any other questions, please?
And just a heads up, if you want to get into, or if you're passionate about agribusiness, if you're passionate about tech in Africa, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to have a conversation. We're all about, enabling the next generation, enabling the future business and people and entrepreneurs. So if you want to collaborate, you got my email in the chat. Happy to connect. Actually, it's much better to reach me on my WhatsApp. So I'll just put my number there because, yeah, just reach me on WhatsApp and yeah, we can get the conversation going. But yeah, it's been great so far. So yeah, if there's any other questions, let me know. If not, thank you very much for letting me have the stage. Thank you.
We are so grateful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for honoring the invitation to speak to us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Prince, we're due to have a short break now. If there is no other questions, Prince, you're on mute. Hi, Prince.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, we're due to have a short break before the next speaker comes. Do you still want us to have that short break? And
I think we just need to open it now for discussion, conversation as well. I mean, okay. Thank you very much, Malobi, for your session. Thank you very, very much, and it's good to have you here as well. You said a lot of things regarding this. The agro-tech and so on and how everything, and I really like the work that you guys are doing in the background as well. I mean, from where you sit, from that position, how do you think that people from other sectors, I'm talking about, we just finished talking about the banking and finance, all right? And I know you highlighted something earlier. I mean, someone asked a question talking about funding, and how you can get the resources. I think that was Barbara Nadu from Facebook asking the question as well in terms of funding. Now, that's the banking sector there. I mean, or sometimes we can look at investors or whoever is interested in that area as well. But from what I knew you jumped and you came in actually just when Sonia was about to round up. But from what you picked and what you got and from what you understand and experience, how important and how do you think that we can really bring in the banking sector, to sit at a table and have a reasonable conversation and collaborate with the agro-tech sector? And in order, because from what I know, overall about 60% of Africa's land is arable, right? And that means there's so much, so much opportunity in the agro-tech sector. Now, how do we bring in the banking sector, to sit at a table with the agro-tech, and have a thriving brand, an African brand from the agro-tech, running smoothly? I mean, a lot of things we see sometimes many African countries still do import, agricultural produce from other continents and other countries. Well, I don't know what the trade relation might be, but I think that we have enough to feed Africa and also feed the world. So what do you think about that? How do you think we can work on that synergy?
Yeah, so I think there definitely needs to be more effort on the financial sector to educate people on what is available, rather than always having the people to try and dig out the information and search for it and find someone that teaches them how to get involved. They should also make an effort to say, look, these are the funds we have, this is what it's for, and this is how it can help the industry. So I think there needs to be more of a sort of effort in terms of the marketing of the funds available. I know that sometimes marketing these things can get people to just see the money and get excited and stuff, but you know, they'll still do their due diligence. They'll still vet the people that they're speaking with and make sure that those people are actually good quality business owners. So yeah, I think on that side, that's what they need to do. In addition to that, I think there needs to be more financing for mechanization of farming, so farming equipment. There's, in my opinion, I feel like sometimes we try to run before we can walk. I've been in a few conversations where people are talking about drones and blockchain and Bitcoin and farm in agribusiness, but I feel like sometimes we're trying to run too quickly. We need to go back to the basics. You know, the average farmer in Africa does not have access to a tractor. That alone is where we need to start. You know, just basic mechanization, providing tractors to farmers at an affordable rate where they can lease it and use it to farm their lands. There's a company called, I believe it's called Hello Tractor. And the way it works is that an investor can buy a tractor, send it to an African country, and then lease that tractor and, you know, get some funds from that. So we need more and more of that. We need more and more people taking that risk, getting loans from banks or whatever, buying those tractors, bringing them into Africa, then having those farmers, small scale, medium scale, large scale, leasing out those tractors as and when they need them. So we need access to the finance as well for that. And then finally, I think we need to go beyond the image of the small scale farmer. I think that, you know, sometimes I get a bit of pushback for saying this, but as Africans, we've been sort of branded as the continent of poverty, of continent of begging, the continent of, you know, give $1 a day. But we need to go beyond that, right? So we need to go into a space where we're doing commercial farms, we're doing large scale production, we're doing, you know, because if we look at, for example, in the United States, most of the farmers that are producing the crops, about 80 to 90% of them are large scale commercial farmers. And by that, I mean, you know, 10 hectares, 100 hectares. But in Africa, most of the farmers, 90% or so, are small scale farmers. So you can see how it's literally the reverse. And so in order for us to start competing on the global stage, we need to start embracing and creating a new image of young entrepreneurs, investors, big players that are putting money into agribusiness, making it look like real estate moguls, making it look like people in the fintech. And, you know, even fintech is kind of sexy nowadays. You know, everyone wants to get into fintech. They want to get into blockchain, Bitcoin, just in the same way that the fintech industry has been made palatable and exciting for the younger generation. We need to make that for agribusiness, because if you market agribusiness as just, you know, an old lady in the village picking up corn with her bare hands, it's not really going to get the younger generation and other investors excited about it, right? So we need to change that image. We need to get into the age of no longer being the continent of just NGOs and donations and grants and all these things, and just people just giving us stuff for us to just barely. No, we need to do big, daring, risky projects, large scale projects. And that is how we're going to transform Africa. Because if we keep playing the small scale game, not only is it bad for the image, but also if I'm trying to do 100 tons of a product, I've got one farmer over there, I've got another farmer 10 kilometers that way, another one 5 kilometers that way. It's not scalable because my tractor has to go from that farm to that farm to that farm. And it's just not very profitable, you know, doing the fertilizers, the cropping, organizing all those farmers, cooperatives. Yes, they're great, but we need to start embracing more larger scale projects. So these are the kinds of things we need to do. And we need the financial industry to finance these things, finance those commercial projects, finance the mechanization of farming, and then also finance young entrepreneurs, and let us know where can we get the money, because like the lady Barbara Conado said, there's no money. There's this perception that there's no money available, but there is money, but people don't know that the money is available. So the financial sector needs to do a better job of letting people know what is available and how they can get hold of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if Zineb is back. I'd like to also have her on. But Zachariah, I see that your hand is up. Is it in relation to this conversation? Would you please just jump in? Thank you.
Yes, I have a question for Malobi, if that's okay. First of all, I want to say thank you, Malobi, for what you've been saying. Thank you for all you've been doing for the content, and thank you for this opportunity for letting me talk and speak. I just have a quick question about how do we encourage young entrepreneurs and startups to launch their businesses in Africa rather than Asia or America? How do we do that?
Well, I mean, there's different ways to do it. One way that Akon did it is just to talk about the quickness of how much money you can make. So I myself, I was in the corporate world in the UK. I was making reasonable amount of money, very comfortable, of course. But you begin to see very quickly that everything's already been built, right? In order to create something new in the US, the UK, in Asia, you have to come up with something very, very unique. And even then, someone has probably already come up with it, and there's going to be competition, which is healthy, but it's not new fertile ground, right? It's a quote unquote developed economy, right? So a lot of things have already been developed, things are functioning well, and so I guess you could say it's harder in that sense. Obviously, Africa has its challenges. I'm not going to say it's easy, but going from 0 to 100, as they say, it's a lot easier in Africa than it is in a place like the UK, US, diaspora, etc. You can become a Fortune 500 company in about 5 years if everything goes accordingly. We've had recent entrepreneurs like the ones from Paystack who got their company acquired for $200 million, right? So sometimes it might sound materialistic, but you got to throw the numbers out at people, right? You got to tell them, look, there's money in Africa. There's a lot more money in Africa if you play your cards right than there is over there. Yes, you can. There's a bit more comfort in the diaspora. There's a bit more, something you feel like things are sustainable, although nothing is ever really promised. But there's a bit more comfort. But if you're willing to take that risk and you're willing to go to Africa and invest in Africa, whatever country it is, the chances of going from 0 to a millionaire is a lot higher in Africa. So if you're going purely from a financial perspective, for me, I saw it as a better investment. There's going to be challenges, but for me, it's a better investment. But then also, you're also thinking about your people, right? You're thinking about benefiting your community, your country, your tribe, right? So there's also that aspect as well. So it depends on what you got to speak to the person personally and really try to understand, socially what they're passionate about. Are they passionate about making a lot of money? Are they passionate about improving their society, their community? What is it that drives them? And when you understand that, either way, it's a better bet in Africa. If you talk about money, it's better in Africa because you can make millions and millions of dollars in a short amount of time. But then if you're talking about benefiting your community, it's also better in Africa because you can see the impact that you're having. I was speaking to one of my colleagues the other day. He started an accelerator in Nigeria, and one of the young men, sent him a letter, and he said it almost brought him to tears. He said that the young man sent him a letter saying, the other day I was working at Chicken Republic, and for those of you that are not from Nigeria, there's a fast food place called Chicken Republic. It's a kind of like similar to KFC. So the other day I was working for Chicken Republic, but now I'm working as a tech developer for one of the largest banks in Nigeria. And he said, look, that's That's what I'm doing it for. That's the impact. You can see the impact right there. So it depends on what the person is passionate about. If it's impact, it's Africa. If it's getting money quickly, it's Africa. So you just got to understand that there are challenges, there's risks, but if you want to take that risk, if you want to make that jump, I honestly advise to invest in Africa. Thank you.